Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today I will be going over my WWE St. Louis Backlash Predictions. This show is my first time doing a predictions video. I wanted to do one for a while. I thought about doing one for WrestleMania, but I just never got to it. I'm lazy, didn't have enough time after I finally decided I was going to do it. Which, by the time I decided to do it, the show had already started. So if that tells you anything. But this show I really wanted to do because it's very important to me. This show will be my first ever in-person WWE event in my entire life. Not just a pay-per-view, but just any event in general. I haven't been to a house show, I haven't been to Raw, I haven't been to SmackDown. And I've been a fan off and on for about 6 years or so. 2019 started when things were rough, then COVID happened, things were still rough, and then they got better. But off and on, I didn't watch a lot of the early 2020 stuff, but I got into the business because of John Cena, and now I get to go see the GOAT one final time against Randy Orton in Backlash, and I'm just really excited. So let's go ahead and get into these predictions. Alright, for my first prediction, I'm going to go ahead and predict that the U.S. Championship Fatal 4-Way between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight will kick off the show, being the second biggest match of the night, being the main, just the main focal point of SmackDown, since John Cena is very isolated right now, just between Randy Orton and not showing up every week because of his part-time schedule. So I feel like this will start it off, and it's going to be a highly intense match. I feel like there's going to be weapons involved, simply because of how the matches have gone between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, and Jacob Fatu and LA Knight also being in there, continuing off their feud at WrestleMania. And I figured this match could go a lot of ways. I figured the person with the second best odds to win would be Drew McIntyre, since he just needs a push to be back in the main event, to be the main heel for Cody Rhodes once John Cena is gone. As well as, I think, Damian Priest being the highest likelihood to lose this match. I feel like he will be the guy getting pinned, because I feel like the rest of these guys can be catapulted, like LA Knight. He could be a top babyface on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre could be a top heel. But it all really depends on Solo Sikoa. As I'm watching SmackDown right now, which is still on, it's 9:22 Central Time, which means that the show isn't over, so things could still change. But Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu just cut a promo, and when I first recorded this part, I said that I think that Solo won't interfere yet, and I'm still going to stick with that. But I feel like they're planting those seeds for way down at SummerSlam when it's Solo versus Jacob. So for my prediction, I think that Jacob Fatu will retain the United States Championship and win this match. I just feel like he has so much to gain by keeping this title. He also doesn't have a lot to lose if he ends up losing this match, but I just think that his run should last a little longer if you want to have him as that top guy, as well as him having the U.S. Championship for a little bit longer would be nice. LA Knight wouldn't make any sense, Drew McIntyre would make a little bit of sense, and Damian Priest just doesn't feel like the right time. So my first prediction will be Jacob Fatu. For my second match on the card, I'm going to have to go with Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title. I feel like this just makes sense here in the 2 slot. This feud is backing off of WrestleMania, and I feel like this is quite simple, to be honest. A lot of people think, it's Becky Hogan, she's going to go over, she's going to win the match, and I feel like that's a huge probability, but personally, I'm going to go ahead and take Lyra Valkyria to win this match. Maybe by disqualification, or maybe via help. Well, help regardless, but I believe that Lyra Valkyria will win this match on the back of Bayley interfering to help Lyra Valkyria or take out Becky Lynch. One of the two, and this will lead to a triple threat somewhere down the road of Lyra being upset with Bayley because she wanted to do it herself, while Bayley will feel like a little bit of anger back at Lyra because she was just doing what she had to. And Becky, of course, just hates both women. So I feel like this is the perfect spot in the show, and I feel like Lyra Valkyria will take home this win. Now for our next match in the show, the middle part of the show, this match honestly could open the show with what I am guessing to happen. And I'm going to be short and quick about this. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Honestly, not a lot of people are excited about it, and they feel like it's a disservice to Gunther, but I honestly really like this for Gunther. It will get him a lot of heat, and nobody really will look bad unless they wrestle a 50-50 match or Gunther loses. I want Gunther to, and I believe he will, I'm just going to say it right here, I think Gunther's winning, and I think he will just completely annihilate Pat McAfee, like Jimmy Uso style. It's going to be bad. I think he's just going to lay him out, and after the end of the match, after completely annihilating him, he's going to go back to attack him again, and that's when we're going to be hit with the Goldberg music, and the crowd's going to go wild, and then it's going to set up that feud for a show down the road. Maybe SummerSlam, maybe a couple match series. Personally, not a lot of people want to see it, but I feel like it would be interesting, and I feel like Gunther can take a loss to Goldberg, but he would have to win it. One of the three. If Goldberg were to win a match against Gunther, it'd have to be a best of 3, and Gunther would still have to win the series. But that's what I believe to happen. Gunther's going to beat Pat McAfee. It's not really a question. It's not a prediction because it's going to happen. Alright, for our co-main event, I believe that the match between Dominic Mysterio and Penta for the Intercontinental title will take place. Now, this match could go a lot of ways. You could see Penta picking up the victory. You could see Dom picking up the victory. But if either one, they would win in different ways. Dom would either win with the help of the Judgment Day or just any cheap tactics in general, while Penta would win by himself. But I believe that in this match that Dominic Mysterio will come out on top, retain the Intercontinental title, and continue on. I believe he will win with help from the Judgment Day, with Finn Balor helping him, but showing signs of his potential turn that is still waiting to happen. And yeah, I just believe Dominic Mysterio will win. I know that means that there will be no title changes so far in the show, unless the main event has one, which I'll talk about in a second. And I just don't believe that Dom will lose yet. He's got to keep his title a little bit longer. So I believe Dominic Mysterio will beat Penta. Now the match we have all been waiting for, and potentially the last time we will ever see it out of their illustrious rivalry throughout their entire careers. John Cena as the undisputed WWE Champion versus Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Randy Orton has been gunning for this title since last year versus Cody Rhodes, and he was going to get his chance versus Cody Rhodes. But instead, he did not go ahead and take that because Cody lost the title to John Cena at WrestleMania. The story writes itself. I mean, it's John Cena and Randy Orton. So far, the story they've told has been that John Cena is going to ruin wrestling, and Randy Orton loves the sport so much it's given everything to Randy Orton, and he's not going to let John do it. So, in this match at Backlash, John Cena's the heel, Randy's the face. Never happened before, will probably never happen again, and it's just unprecedented because it's never happened. Unseen waters. Who even knows what will happen? But if I had to predict, I think that John Cena will win this match and retain the WWE title, which I think it's possible Randy wins. I just think this is the perfect way to get John heat, because St. Louis, they'll boo John. I might not boo John since I'm going to be there, but St. Louis will boo John. And if they don't boo John, they'll root for Randy. And John's going to use some underhand tactics. He's going to be as heel as possible. And I think they could do the callback to win Randy slapped the ref. But there's a lot of things. Here's some of the pathways they could go. They could go with John just being heel and winning. They could go with R-Truth helping out John Cena, which I don't know how fans would perceive that, but I would enjoy that. You could go with The Rock, which please don't. You could just go anything, but I think John Cena will retain and will hold the title for a long time. So I think John Cena will win. Alright, those are my predictions. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know what you think of the card order. Let me know if I got any wrong. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you see any other outcomes. I'm super excited to go to Backlash, and I'm just super excited. The card isn't amazing, not exactly what I was hoping, but it has the one match I always wanted to see, and I'm just grateful for that. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and everybody keep yourselves safe, and yet again, just have a wonderful day.